round of play. You were a couple shots back. Tell me about that first round. What you were in that position. Did you like where you were?
Yeah, I liked where I was, and I struggled the first day, and I really didn't play to my potential. And going into day two, being 2 shots back, I actually like that spot better than being 2 up, because you can kind of go into it with a different mindset and having to catch back up. So I just played pretty steady on the front 9 on day 2. I made some bogeys, but this state tournament I definitely was more calm going into the round and playing on the backside for sure on day 2.
Was the backside the key to your round? Is that when you got to go?
Yeah, I shot 39 on the front, had 3 bogeys, and I was making pars. And most of my bogeys were from 3 putts. My ball striking was there, but really wasn't making any putts and couldn't really get anything going. But going into the backside, I was still 2 down, and made a par and got 1 back on hole 10. And then I just kept the wheels going and made them make mistakes. That's kind of how it was.
Your experience from being there 3 years before, how key was that on the back 9?
Yeah, I've been there before, and I was in the same position that they were. That I had 2 juniors and a senior playing with me, and you could definitely tell that the senior that was playing with me had the experience that I did, and he gave me a run until the 18th hole. He chipped in several times, and he was not backing up. So, but on the junior part and the experience, I don't know. I've been there. I've been leading before and didn't pull it off. And the senior, he ended up shooting a 74 on the second day. So, I mean, I've been in that spot on the other side too, and it feels great to be on this side.
Good score with such terrible conditions with the wind.
Yeah, it was definitely a windy day. It's 30 mile an hour. On one of my key shots into the wind was on the 13th hole, and it was a 150-yard shot where I'd normally be hitting a 9-iron or a pitching wedge, and I had to hook the ball probably at least 20 yards around a tree. I was actually 1 down going into that hole, and hit a good hook to about 10 feet, and I made it, and the other kid made bogey, so that was one of my key shots into the wind.
When you were walking up 18 and you knew you had the tournament won, what were you thinking the last 100 yards as you're walking?
On the tee shot, I didn't think. I mean, I knew I had a 2-shot lead going into 18, but I knew it definitely wasn't over. The kid wasn't giving up. I mean, he was chipping in from everywhere. We were pretty square all day, and he played solid all day. He just had 1 or 2 bad holes that got him out of it. So when I had 190 yards into 18, and I told Coach we had a wind behind us, and I hit a 9-iron from 190 yards, which that can tell you how pumped up I was. So when I was walking up to the green, I had a 10-footer for eagle on the 18th hole, and I just thought about everything and thought about all the experience that I've had and everybody back home and everyone at La Plata and how great it felt to win a state tournament.
You're always going to be known as a state champion. That's a nice ring to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Talk to me about how your coach helped you.
The first day he actually had to be a starter off of hole 10, so he wasn't there for the first 3 or 4 holes, and those were actually the holes I struggled on. I mean, more nerves, I think, just not playing under that for a year now, and he going into the back 9. That's where we really turned it on, and we got yardages exactly every shot that we hit. But going into the back 9, I shot 1 under, and we just kept it going the whole time.
We obviously felt like that Logan had a good chance to win the tournament before we even started. So I think I think the process was just trying to be patient and play his game, not really worry about what the other players were doing or how they were scoring or the conditions or anything like that. Just play shots that he's been playing for years and years, and just stay the process and kind of let it happen. So I think that was I think I've never been prouder of seeing a a young man stay the process, have confidence, not get too excited whenever there were some mistakes made, and then just kind of let it happen.
That's where all his experience really came in, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as Logan alluded to, you can always tell the players, the more classmen players who've been through that situation before, and just been hitting golf shots whenever there's, we had at one point in time, I think we had around 70 people following our group alone. So, when you go from playing and just hitting shots on your own to having 70 people who are all really pulling for you, it's hard to do. It adds to the stress level, and so the experience when you've done that, and when you've played Logan's played in a final group before, and that experience is invaluable. So I'm confident that was a large part of how he was able to hang in there.
He just didn't roll out of bed, hit the golf course, and win a state championship. He worked at it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Matter of the fact, we finally got alone last night pretty late. Whenever we got back, and neither one of us really said anything for a while, and because I don't think we really knew what to say, and I just kind of said, after a minute, I said, how good is it going to feel to just be able to go out and just play golf for fun? Because leading up into this tournament and really this year in general, he worked tirelessly and worked on the parts of his game that he was struggling with. And so I feel like every second leading up to the tee shot on the first round was getting prepared for that round. And I'm sure that there's other kids that worked really hard for that tournament, but I can guarantee you that nobody worked harder.
This is high school. You're supposed to learn. You're supposed to advance every year.
Yeah.
From the Logan Smith that I saw and interviewed as a freshman going to state to the Logan Smith that we see now, that process has worked. He's grown not only as a golfer but as a person.
Yeah. I've known Logan for a really long time now. I've played golf with him since I used to play golf with him, and he would hit these little 190 and 200 yard straight drives, and I could hit a 3-iron farther than he hit his driver. So the maturity in his game that I've seen, I can't even get close to where he hits the ball now. He hits at places that I couldn't even dream of going. So his golf game has definitely matured, but the person himself, it's pretty humbling when you're an adult and there's a young person that you can look up to yourself and try to emulate and try to be like, and that's just kind of the kid that he is.